Before we get started with today's interview, just a quick reminder, click the thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and ding the bell so that you don't miss any of the great interviews that we have coming up. Now, on to today's interview. Welcome back, everybody. Today, my guest is composer Catherine Rollin. Her piece on the new National Federation of Music Clubs list is Fisherman at Sea. You can find it in her book, Museum Masterpieces, Book B, available from fine music retailers near you. Welcome, Catherine.
Thank you, Sam. Glad to be here.
This piece is so much fun. It goes along with the excellent artwork which you thoughtfully included in the center of this book so that students can be inspired by it just as you were inspired to compose these pieces. And looking at this piece, this piece of artwork, it's so clear that these fishermen are in peril and the sea is not helping them out, and they're really in danger and maybe should be fearing for their lives. And you've captured that fear and that danger and that peril so beautifully with these cross-hand arpeggios and this minor sound. Talk to us about what we should be teaching our students about as we're working on Fisherman at Sea.
I would say to you that this is one of those pieces that, I'm very happy about creating for a student who is at the late elementary level, because so many times I've seen in my more intermediate pieces how I can take things that might be similar. You and I have talked about concerto romantique, similar to something that's in a Schumann concerto, and I can put it into my concerto romantique at, an intermediate to getting later intermediate level. But basically, I can take something and just take what Schumann did and make it in block chords. And it's like, oh my goodness, it's like magic. A student can sound brilliant and they can really traverse the whole keyboard. And that is, for me, to be able to give students a magical music experience and to have that feeling is really exciting. And I want to offer that to students as much as possible from the earliest stages. So in this case, we have this. But typically, something like that would be written probably in triplets, like 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3. But I'm changing it by putting it all in quarter notes. So it's in an accessible reading experience. And so a student, the main thing that I would say is, yes, I want the music to summon up all of these feelings of fear and just being overwhelmed by the power of nature, and which is so beautifully, incredibly done in the painting. And so again, this would be one where I would tell the student to block out. That's their whole introduction. And then they can. Now, a student doesn't have to go that fast again, but it's something, well, I'll take you into now the main body, because that's like your introduction. So the main body. So it's very dramatic and fun to play. A student can definitely, at the initial learning stage, I would, of course, show them what they're doing once they've done some hand separate practice, because, of course, I would encourage them to do some hand separate. But really, again, blocking it out will help them enormously. But they can play it also. So they can also play very dramatically at a slower tempo. And so I don't want to say that it's all about the speed, but I do want to say that very importantly, though, our biggest job as a teacher, though, is to guide them whether they play it a slower but getting all the drama, because you can still, if you play with your torso. So now we go to this. So when they cross, they should feel that their body is like a wave, one of those waves in the painting, and that they're going from the bass note to the crossover, and it really, that's your melody. So those upper notes, the crossover notes, create the melody. And so a slower tempo is definitely doable. The main thing that will make it sound dramatic is actually using some torso to sweep. So without that torso movement, it's really hard to create that feeling of a real natural crescendo going to the high point. So I hope that the teachers will feel it really, really depicts the water and the waves and the power of the waves, and the students can feel that to have a really effective experience. So the main thing, though, is to also feel the pulse, yada-da-da-da-da-dum, yada-da-da-da-da-dum, as opposed to just going fast, something like that. Because actually, one of the greatest lessons we can teach our students is that to feel the pulse is going to help it sound much more sweeping, whether it's slower or faster. But if it's just kind of fast and has a certain randomness to it, it's not going to work as well. So, and I think our students, if they, again, can feel it and actually feel like they're making a wave with their body, I think it will lead to great success for them.
That is excellent advice. Is there anything else you would like us to know about Fishermen at Sea?
No, I love the painting and was really happy to bring a musical depiction to students of it.
Well, I know many students all across the country are going to really enjoy playing it at recitals and at their Federation Festival this year. My guest today has been Catherine Rollin. Her piece on the new National Federation of Music Clubs Festivals Bulletin is Fishermen at Sea. You can find it in her book, Museum Masterpieces, Book B, available from fine music retailers near you. Thank you so much for being here today, Catherine.
Thank you for having me.